Island Sanctuary has now been out for over a week, and I want to give my review as someone who has done it extensively. And so, is this content worth your time? Is it a hot or is it going to be a rot? So the first thing to address is Island Sanctuary is largely marketed as a casual, chill, relaxing experience to just be on an island and, well, chilling. Honestly, for many people, I'm 100% sure that that is true, and that, you know what, they're absolutely getting that. It is factually a gorgeous, spacious island with tons of things to see. For a personalized space, it's massive. You can find like multiple great beaches with their own distinct feel, little hidden valleys and hilltops and little like orchards and stuff. I can see people coming here for quite literally years, explicitly for G-Post screenshots, if literally nothing else. But the weather changes and the sun rises, the sunsets, they're just stunning here. That's not even mentioning the music. The music is absolutely stellar. Like, the developers absolutely knocked it out of the park, in my opinion. Point being, the ambience, the environment, where you are going is completely on point. Masterfully crafted 100%. I can totally see this as chill spot. The main activity on the Island Sanctuary is undeniably that dopamine spike that you're going to be getting from slamming a node, and then you get to do that over and over and over again in this massively scenic location. You then use these materials to really build up the island in whatever way you choose, which, if I have to be honest, is extremely linear outside of the fact that you can, say, build an extra granary before a workshop. Don't worry, you will max out on both at the end, which would theoretically be a negative because it would slow down you gaining seafarers' calories, which is very important because that's the main currency inside of the Island Sanctuary. Ultimately, though, you do end up with an on-rails experience. 3 workshops, you'll get that. 2 granaries, 4 landmarks. The landmarks are really the only place that you really get customization options here. Of course, you can change some of the workshops or like your cozy cabin to look like different things, but largely you're still going to have a cozy cabin in the exact same location as everyone else that's going to function the same. But in terms of the landmarks, how you can change them really does seem to largely be aesthetic only, so the linear nature of it is actually one downside of Island Sanctuary for sure. I know a lot of people wanted more, just like more rich customization options, and so customization, I'm not gonna lie, it doesn't feel deep on this front, at least from here. Now the next activities that come to mind that are going to be more and more relevant as time goes on for you as you progress through the Island Sanctuary levels are going to be crops and catching Pokemon. Obviously, the catching Pokemon is something that is best done at a more casual pace because, how to say it bluntly, a lot of them require very specific times and weather conditions that sometimes can take days before you get a good time, unless you're willing to wake up at like 3 o'clock in the morning. Like, Twinkle Fleece is absolutely confirmed to be evil. No one can tell me otherwise. Twinkle Fleece is evil. Which is obviously cute, like the Pokemon system in general. It's a cute system. You can like pet and interact with your Pokemon. You can even give them cute, unique names. Some people have like awesome memes on Twitter. I love them. But like, how to say it? I think that this is just spectacularly well done. Like, where you go to catch them, what times do you go to catch them, the entire process. In a theoretical world, you could really catch 20 Twinkle Fleece, and you might just have people look at you with complete concern. But this is definitely a place where you can for sure express customization more than just what buildings you do. In terms of crops, there is definitely going to be some expression there as well, although I'm not sure how to say it. Pokemon definitely feels like a lot more interactive than like the crops because you just plant them, you have them grow, you harvest them. Yeah, that's about all I can say on that. And then after a while, all of these activities eventually results in you being able to delegate tasks to your own little army of minions to take care of your Pokemon for you, including dropping their loot, which is very important, or rather collecting their loot. You don't want them to drop their loot, but it's just going to be very extremely important that you can delegate these tasks for what I'm going to talk about in a second here, as well as the minions can obviously go out and gather materials, doing like including the highly valuable rare materials. They're in particular what I usually go after, and then you can have them raise your crops for you as well. Basically, you can automate all of those tasks completely. You don't even need to think about them once you have things set up. This, however, does come at the cost of seafarers' calories, that very precious currency, but this is quickly leading into what I personally actually view Island Sanctuary as. It's really, truly a small Eorzean business simulator. I actually can't view it as just some relaxing cozy island or peace and tranquility anymore. Now that I've hit the end game with it, it's so much more than just that, which I for one am thankful for. Obviously you can get the views, you can have the gathering, you can have all that, but I view it as so much more. Me saying that'll come together soon, but my point is, for just to wrap up the other points, is you're delegating these tasks to your mammoth minions to take care of for a small amount of those seafarer calories. Everything on this island really runs on those. There is a second currency that you aren't hearing me talk about much in this video or other videos called island calories. They're just kind of some consolation prize. They aren't really as good and not really what you're dealing with here. So at this point in the video, people are wondering, okay, what exactly is the point then? Why am I gathering all these crops? Why am I delegating all of these tasks? It's to collect the materials that you will then funnel into the workshop at the Tactful Taskmaster, who you will work with scheduling a weekly schedule and supply and demand charts to guide you through. And the developers did not hold back on the system. It is feature rich and extremely extensive if you choose to partake in it. I don't want to scare casual players. I'll talk about it more, but you don't really need, you can go at it casually, but this does give people like me that like optimization a lot to chew. And it really, for me, is an absolute pleasure to see this depth. You schedule 5 days a week. You can start scheduling at the very start of the week and then just let the workshop fly for the rest of the week, collecting honestly a ton of seafarer calories whenever you next arrive to pick them up. So really, between the gathering of materials, the raising of the crops, and the taking care of your Pokemon, that's all automated. The making things is automated, so really once you have it set up, it really just goes. So now at this point, these calories that you get are then very powerful. They are used to buy items from the calorie exchange, and a lot of these items are extremely valuable to say the least. And yes, a lot of them are going to be market board sellable, meaning gil, as I was getting at earlier. Very, very easy automated gil that you simply collect after very minimal setup. We're talking crafter and gathering material, which are by far easily some of the hardest to get material, and they have a history of being extremely expensive and extremely useful for crafters and gatherers, extremely. They usually need to pentameld in order to be able to do the content they want to do, and so you are getting into that system. And we're also talking about these dyes, and as we all know, glamours forever. So it's really just a steady stream of gil for honestly very little setup. Rewards 100% there. Absolutely, at this point, no denying it. Just think, oh, I can buy that brand new glamour that comes from the treasure hunt maps, from literally just doing Island Sanctuary next patch. Sweet. So my review of Island Sanctuary is that this is so much more than just a beautiful island zone with fantastic ambient music and a collection of interesting mammoths, Pokemon, and crops. It's also a place where you can very easily build up passive gil streams and have the joys of automating a ton of work, which honestly for so many people like myself just feels fantastic. Optimization and math lovers will adore this, although more casual players don't need to worry, and I need to stress this, you don't need to worry about falling behind either, because it's not a competition. You aren't fighting on the market board for all this stuff. You are just going to have that baseline amount of calories that you get from an item. Even if you don't care about the supply and demand, okay, you're getting just that baseline value. You're not going to get the bonuses, or you will maybe strike gold with some of the bonuses, but you're going to get that baseline value. You don't need to deep dive, is what I'm trying to stress out there. I think the Island Sanctuary is an absolute win in terms of content. This is something that I don't regret for a single second investing the time into exploring and setting up, and I am very much looking forward to getting this 24,000 Seafarer's Calories mount in a few days. Please look forward to it. That brings me to the end of this video. If you guys want, it'd make me just really happy if you considered slamming a Seafarer Calorie stack on that like button and cat dang that subscribe button. Take care everyone, and I hope you have an absolutely fantastic long weekend.